AA, see you in church. Hi, I'm Manuel. I said a while back I would not be seeing Jubilee anymore. But like I've told before, they keep putting it in my list of people I like, even though I've taken them off. And the last thing I unliked it. But they put together a group of really, really smart people. Sometimes they're too smart. And I'm saying it that way because they're putting people into categories and then saying, don't put them into categories. And I understand that. Um, Most people are in categories. You got men and women, those are the natural categories. But the way our world is today, it doesn't run that way too much. People are now wanting to be thought, and they also want you to guess. And then if you do guess, they want you to guess right. Um, if you look at Cut, they do an episode where they hand out cards and they tell the person, this card you handed out, and you know, see who you if you get them right. And that was sort of interesting. They went and took the two gays, put them together on the sideline after the fact, and they had the persons come in one by one, and they both were talking to that person, and then one person came out. You didn't get mine right because today I didn't feel like, you know. And I'm like, okay. So now we gotta remember, I guess, on who you feel like today. That's ridiculous. I know a lot of people get mad at that, and they don't really go across that, and that's the point that I always had a problem. But they do go across something that I didn't have it in a problem with the way they did it. My problem was the way they were dealing with the situation. They were saying it was feminism and Black Matters. He says both seem to be more a problem than a solution. And I understand what he's trying to say, but at the same time, he's not saying the big thing. What the situation was is that with the Black Matters is a group does not want them to say everyone matters. They're saying we tagged it first for Black Matters, so we don't want to share it with everyone matters. That is the reality that's going on right now. The problem is we just got to stop having people get killed. And the drama that's going on now, two people have been killed. The police officers are now, one police officer for sure is going to jail for killing a neighbor that they thought might be dead because they hadn't seen her for a while. That drama is going on in real life. That's not part of the show. The point they were trying to get to, they do go to this about a police officer doing a black person not in the right neighborhood, okay? It's a white neighborhood, so there shouldn't be any black people here. So they pull him over, they do a whole harassment, then they leave. And I understand that. That is a traumatic moment. But then I had to connect it to myself. And way back when I was younger, a friend dragged me to a party. I didn't really want to go, to be honest. I was tired and I had worked all day, and I had worked in a line of days. Friend wanted to go have fun, drags me to a party. I see people disappearing. So I decide to leave. I had no idea where I was. So I start walking. I said, well, I'll hit a major street, see where I'm at, catch a bus, or if I have enough, I'll take a taxi home. And then someone at the party goes over and says, I saw you left. I said, yeah. I said, I don't want to be put in the middle of what's going on. So I decided to just go, not make a scene, just leave and go home. There's no purpose for it. This way I'm not part of it. And I left. And he says, oh, I'm going that way, so I'll give you a ride. Well, at the time, I lived in the direction of 4 clubs. So I said, okay. I didn't think any problem would go, you know. And then I got really uncomfortable. The person kept saying things that I was not comfortable with, and I didn't really care to be part of. So I had him drop me off at a little hotel that was right there near where I live. And I said, oh, just let me off here. And he says, oh, no, I can take you all the way home. I said, to be honest, I said, I'd rather you drop me off here. I said, because it's hard to get to where I live, and it's easier for me to walk from here. And so he pulled over, let me out, and I started walking. And I saw him watching, and a police officer pulled up and was going to harass me. But when he said, he goes, hello, and he wanted to, I ran right up to the car and I said, excuse me, but can I talk to you for a few minutes? And he says, what? And I said, yeah, I knew he wanted to harass me, but the point is that he's just going to whatever. This other person was still hanging around watching to see where I was going. So I started talking to the police officer, and I told him what had happened during the night so far. And he says, well, his whole attitude changed because he could tell that I was really uncomfortable what was going on behind me. And then all of a sudden there goes the car, and I was there, and I said, okay, I'm sorry, but now you can tell me what you were going to tell me. And he says, oh, I forgot already. He said, because I had told him I went to a party, these people were disappearing into a room, I could only guess what they were doing. I told him, so I left, and this person seemed nice at the party, offered me a ride, and then I decided, the way he talked, that I might not be safe. And he said, well, you got to be careful. We talked. And then afterwards he says, oh, well, the reason I stopped you is because this area. And he said, this business here. And I said, is that business really working? I thought it was out of business. He goes, oh no, they're renovating it. And I said, oh, I thought it was out of business. That's why there was a fence, because I never see people here. He goes, no, there's people there. Not right now, he says, but they work during the daytime. And I had told him where I worked, which was around the corner, what I where I lived and everything. That's why I was in this area, and that's why I had that person drop me off there, because I was gonna walk home and disappear while I was and ditch him. And he was better, and most likely he was gonna harass me because of that, and he was. But after he saw that I was really scared, that he changed and he became who he was supposed to be, a police officer taking care of the public and everything. And afterwards I told him thank you, and he says no problem. He says next time make sure you know where you're at least, so that you know if there is a bus or whatever. He said that way you don't take that person's assistance like you did. And I said yep. But you have to remember, yeah, right now we're having a bad time with the police, but not all of them are like that. I understand that. But other than him, all the police officers I've ever dealt with have been horrible. And I understand what's going on, but there's nothing you know, without us working together and not fighting. Oh no, you gotta say Black Lives Matter. You can't say all lives matter. All lives do matter. And they were saying something about the bigotries of people going to college. Okay, I understand that too. I remember when I went to college, I fitted into a slot of a Hispanic going to college. My friend fit in the spot of a black woman going to college. I even heard them talk as I was waiting and saying there were only so many slots available for Hispanics, blacks, and Indians, and we only needed to fill in so many. And to me, I found it sort of insultive, because let's just say we only have 10. We get the 10 Hispanics. The other ones still should be able to come in. It just doesn't make sense. Why leave openings empty? Because they're not for Hispanics. They're for Asian, for black, for Jewish. It don't make sense. If we fit the position better, we should get the job. I mean, the position, period. In the I was working in the college. I was taking classes. I was enjoying myself. I stayed there, and the difference for me is I got the training into where I'm applying for when I go to work. I find lots of people who can't do the job, and I have to train them. It's crazy. If you get an English degree, you should go work in a library, not in clothing. It's just crazy. I'm not saying you don't deserve a job, but I'm just saying I'm training people to fit into a square when they're a circle. They go to expensive college, and they're selling shoes. They're selling dresses because they took English. They're English majors. They're all these other majors that don't have anything to do with sales or business. And that's the reality. The same thing. We shouldn't have to be required to know what you think you are today. If you're a male, you're a male. If you're a female, you're a female. If you're a woman that's already become a male, now you're a male. But to be honest, to me, you're a Sandra, you're a Frank, you're Steven, you're Kevin. It don't matter to me. All I need to know is who you want me to call you at. Because all those other things are not important. My friend is the person, not the segments of the person, the whole person. And that's where we're having a problem. We should be called by our name, not by what for the moment we decided we want to be. We're human beings, period, who has a name. But we're doing all this other stuff and making a lot of problems, and we're fighting within groups, and even within the groups we're fighting. We have black people that are saying to white black people that they're not black enough. We have, especially in Indian people, it was supposedly they made a movie that was based on something that happened. This one big guy that was in supposedly in the Indian head tribes, he was there saying, oh, you have to have so much Indian before you had a speech and everything. Okay, so they had this blood test that would tell you how much Indian you were, and supposedly he went and got tested, and he didn't have much Indian in him, so he had to step down. That's just crazy. It probably was good that he had to step down because he sounded like an asshole. But the reality is that when we are here playing these stupid games, it's dumb. I'm Hispanic, period. I don't go saying, oh, I'm half Spaniard and half Mexican. I am, but that's not the importance. I am Manuel. Boom. That's it. So if you want to do separate whatever, that's up to you. The point is you don't make me do it. You go over, put a shirt, go have a shirt made for all your different way you feel. Have that shirt, show me it, and then I'll know, okay. But at the moment, I'll still call you Steven. That's the reality. And you should be given the rights of a human being, period. Whether you're Pakistani, Hispanic, white, Chinese, any of these. And that's the reality. We know it's not going to happen because there's too much fight in the groups. But we can still wish. It's just like religion. There's so many religions and they're all fighting against each other. But only one God. Whatever. It's up to you to make a decision for yourself and not let all this nonsense be your decision. If you want to see it, you can go over to YouTube, look on Jubilee, and it has, they're having a conversation about it. And they're really smart people, but they're too smart. And that's the problem there. They're glossing over the whole situation. And if you're on Facebook and you happen to be a friend or whatever, you can go to my and see it there because I put it there. But otherwise, AA, see you in church, and don't forget to subscribe. Put the hand up, write a message, and put what you'd like to talk about. And remember, I'll see you at church.